Says two watching. Why don't say it on my thing, dude?
School me duck, got one of my rooms all flooded with gold. I done bought 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carat in stones. Cash on the California cash, can't wait to go dress my home. Smash all you itty bitty rappers in a minute, I'm trying to prolong. On the way to bitch my goals, lot of doors open and close.
Carlos started his business to obsess over things like basting, but
I can't even see this shit.
drama, flood it up. Tell us, try to just back it up. Want the hair, I don't wanna fuck. I'd rather count money and just run it up. Why niggas be loving hoes? If that's focus, you gotta go. Why niggas be loving hoes? If that's focus, then you gotta go. Step with the drama, flood it up. Tell us, try to just back it up. Want the hair, I don't wanna fuck. I'd rather count money and just run it up. Why niggas be loving hoes? If that's focus, you gotta go. Why niggas be loving hoes? If that's focus.
To stop Trump and end the cost of living crisis, we need to change Democratic Party leadership.
Said that.
Yeah, because we had the court to quantum computing.
Yeah. Play with their kids and then they go to bed and they repeat it all.
Thing, and then he jumps to another timeline. Like he'll be somebody in the 70s, or somebody in the 1800s, or somebody in the future, and he's learning these different lessons. He's doing these things in this timeline to where he's kind of adjusting or fixing whatever is in their life, because consciously he's not that person.
Right.
And he's doing these different things, and he's quantum leaping. It's crazy.
Could that be
so-
like intuition? Like
Let me just
kind
well,
of,
let me-
in a way?
There's a like semantics, right? It's like how do we fucking label these things that
Right.
are not like necessarily rooted in this reality?
Yeah.
So that just reminds me of something that I used to do all the time. So when I was a kid, okay, it's gonna sound weird, but whatever, just go with it. When I was a kid,
Nothing sounds weird here.
not on this show.
when I was a kid, I used to wonder what it was like to be my cat.
Okay.
So my cat would just like, purr or like lazily walk around or stretch or whatever, right? And so I started to hop into the body of my cat, okay, as a kid, like as a young kid. And to the point where like, not only would I feel the whole body, like the movement, everything of being a cat, but then like she would, so I was like a passive observer, but in her body. So like I wasn't making choices, like I couldn't jump here, like I was just like observing it. And so she would like go around a corner and like rub her face around this corner, and I could feel what it felt like, because there's so many different nerve endings on a cat's face, like where the whiskers are. I could feel what it felt like. So when I was around like, I'm 33 now, I was like maybe 25, I was like, I had this sort of recall of this memory. And so I asked myself, can I do that again? and
Today, you're talking like now?
Like, yeah, I was like 25 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So like 10 years ago almost. And I was like, can I do that again? So I was driving on the highway. And I was like, and this, I hesitate to even say this because for me, I have like a high morality. Okay, and what I do, you kind of have to, or else you're either just like corrupt and evil and you use these abilities for like your own power and gain, or you've got a high morality. And I've got a pretty high morality, moral compass.
Sure.
But anyway, so I hesitate to say it because I didn't have as much of a moral compass back then. So I was driving on the highway and I thought to myself, can I hop into the body of the driver in front of me? Right? Just passively. Immediately, as I think this thing, I'm in this woman's body in her car, and I'm driving, and the same thing, I can't control her body, right? I don't know, maybe that goes against the law of free will, probably. But I can see out her eyes. Like, it was so wild. And I knew what my body looked like, and I was like, she has blonde hair and blue eyes. And she's like maybe 45, right? So the only way that I could validate my experience was to, of course, drive by her and take a look at who it was. I mean, when you're behind someone in the car, like, I couldn't even see the back of her head. Like, I couldn't see any defining details, her hair color, anything, her skin color, nothing. And so I drive by her, and she's exactly who I felt in that moment. So it's absolutely possible for us, as remote viewers even, just to hop in and out of different bodies and gain access to those experiences.
Wow, so it's the same thing that explained in the TV show.
It's always in the movies.
That's crazy. So does that get overwhelming for you when you're remote viewing or you're seeing these different things? Is that like they're taxing you?
When I was a kid, I created this sort of boundary, which is when my physical eyes are open, I'm just rooted in this reality, because I was seeing dead people and like just a bunch of weird stuff.
That's happened
as a
to me.
kid.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of dead people. He'll tell you the story.
He's like the Sixth Sense kid growing up.
Yeah.
Promise you. It's always in the movies.
Yeah, I had a few experiences that were like super paranormal. Like one time, I was falling asleep in a chair.
We can go all day stories about his.
Yeah, I know.
Like he was the Sixth Sense kid. Go ahead.
So I was falling asleep in a chair. I was kind of dozing off, and I reached a point to where you're in between this reality and the dream reality.
Yeah.
So I was in between that. So as I was dozing off, closed my eyes. As soon as I closed my eyes, I was in between. I see a room full of dead people. I know they were dead. They were all reaching out to me doing like this.
Thriller style.
Yeah, they were all reaching out to me, but I sensed that they were all trying to tell me something all at once. So it was like a doorway. And they were all doing this. They all had different stories and different things they wanted to like tell me, to maybe tell somebody else. I don't know. So I wake up screaming.
I'm playing Dreamcast.
Yeah.
You guys remember Dreamcast? I'm literally playing Dreamcast,
Yeah.
and this guy's asleep behind me.
Yeah. And I wake up screaming and I jump up. I'm like running as I'm waking up. And he's running at the same time.
We're both running. Like, where are we going?
He said, "Where are we
Because I'm
going?"
like, wait, hold on. He took off running. I'm like,
He's like, what the
okay,
hell's going on?
So where we going? I'm looking at my
Yeah.
left.
So I have a lot of stories like that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dude, you got to tell the story real quick about our cousin that passed, and you didn't him because he passed before you were born.
Oh, yeah, real quick. So I
Wow.
have another experience to where I forgot how old I was, super young.
I think you're like 3 or 4.
Yeah, probably like 3 or 4. And I was on the couch and I was playing with my toys and whatnot. My mom's in the kitchen, she's cooking and whatnot. And then she hears me and she goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "He won't stop messing with me. Vaughn, he won't stop. He's like doing this and this and that."
Right?
Right?
Like, who?
She was like, "Yeah, who did you say?" I was like, "Vaughn." And she was like, "Oh my God, Vaughn died years ago before you were born."
Have you ever heard of 1-800-GO-JUMP? Oh yeah, the junk removal company. All you have to do is
Create your own sunshine with the new Jergens Natural Glow Brightening Daily Moisturizer. And embrace a gradual tan infused with coconut oil and antioxidants. Nourish and brighten every day. That's the feel-good feeling of Jergens.
College shouldn't bury you in debt. WGU makes higher education affordable.
I did it.
Vitamins get all the credit. Minerals do all the work. Trace Mineral Drops deliver over...
Every team deserves an extraordinary meeting experience, but sometimes obstacles.
And then he was like a trickster, and he likes to play around and stuff.
Likes to agitate.
He likes to agitate. So she had to confirm, who? Vaughn doing this. So she runs over.
Yeah, my mom's like the scariest lady ever.
Runs over
Literally.
and gets the fuck out of there. She was like, "How did you know this person? Because you weren't even born when he died."
Yep.
So yeah, I have stories all the time like that.
And so, in seeing that stuff as a kid, and my mom was really freaked out about my abilities too. I made this rule that when my eyes are open, I'm just here. I'm only seeing the physical reality. When I close my eyes and choose to open my third eye, I can see beyond this reality. And for me, that was sort of a safety mechanism of like being able to exist here.
Right.
Every once in a while, I'll get bored, okay? And then I'll just like tap in and see what's going on. highly do not recommend that. And one time I was in a bar, and I don't know why, I don't know, maybe I was just like not having like a great time, or like not like stimulating conversation. And I was like, I wonder what the energies look like in this bar. Oh my God, it was like everyone's emitting a frequency. There was all these colors and energies, and it was so completely overwhelming. So these days, I don't really get overwhelmed in doing what I do because I have like some good healthy boundaries.
Right.
But when I do sit down to remote view, I always equate it to like 1 hour of remote viewing is like 3 hours of doing anything else.
Wow.
Because it's like sitting down and doing an exam for an hour. Like it takes all of your mental concentration and focus, and it does get really draining.
Do you need like silence, or like what do you need? Is it like what's the process? Like meditation? Like what do you actually do?
So you get into a place of observing everything without reaction. So it's actually called equanimity. It's a state of equanimity. And it takes a long time to do this. Before it took me like 60 minutes, 45 minutes to like get into a place where none of this existed. Now it takes me 2 seconds because I know how to get there. But like if I'm hungry, you know, I can feel my stomach rumbling, right? Like that can be grounding. If it's cold in the air, like the temperature of the room can bring me back into my body. Like if there's like a neighbor that's like passing by and like talking really loudly, like that'll snap you back into your body. So obviously, ideally, you want like perfect conditions, like a nice quiet space, a safe space. Talking really loudly, like that'll snap you back into your body. So obviously, ideally, you want like perfect conditions.
The Epstein.
Diagnosed with Crohn's disease and struggling with your symptoms, it's not too soon to talk to your doctor about.
When you about Fremont? Right now? Yeah, I'll come right now. Yeah, I'll come right now.
Shit. Damn.
Yeah,
Call.
You would.
Call me. Oh shit. Yeah, it just went down. Responsible resource if we're going.
Supposed to have that legal framework, but it doesn't. And then you see government contracts getting applied, and we're gonna start seeing infrastructure get built with it. Come on, man.
But it's not busting down the flesh, but it's busting down the way.
Well, when you think about it, all of it takes place where?
Bingo. But as soon as they start putting out these robots that can be companions.
Oh wow.
And
Denzel, he told me, look at your hands, man. You're always like this. All these producers want to do is they try to open your hand and so they can put money in it. But you won't do it.
You're in Hollywood. It's a hookup culture.
This guy Enkidu is
we're really
I earned my degree online at Southern New Hampshire University.
It's possible to raise a family, to pursue other things, and still further your education.
And you can do it too, from all over the country.
I live in Massachusetts.
I live in Texas.
I live in California.
I live in Pennsylvania.
I'm from Florida. I'm from Virginia.
In North Carolina and St. Louis. I'm from Tennessee.
And I'm from Georgia.
Regardless of where you live across the country, earn your degree at SNHU.
Visit snhu.edu.
we're really challenging to see if this event was really going to even happen. You know, it was like the initial date was set and then something came to rob that date. Well, something came to change that date. Still, I think it was a robbery. And that was my fault because I acquiesced and allowed that situation to happen. And then we got a new date and then the fires came. And I'm like, man, what is going on here? You know, and then we get closer to this date and then we don't have a room. And I'm like, yo, wait a minute. But again, just as some of the other great speakers that came on before me, it's about asking yourself a question. What is it that I am doing that's not in alignment with allowing this event to happen the way that it's supposed to happen? And sometimes we have to take a really close look at ourselves. So we have to be really honest with ourselves. And I saw that I was out of alignment. I was out of alignment with this event. I was out of alignment with making this thing happen. I was out of alignment with myself. I was going through a lot of things, as some of y'all probably know. And because of that, I realized, wow, I have to get back in alignment. There's a lot of things that aren't clicking, not just this event, but many other things outside of this just weren't clicking. To the world on the outside, it's like, this guy can't be stopped. But based on the inside, some of the things I know that, you know, that you would never know that I'm supposed to have done or had been accomplished, or some things that benchmarks I set for myself, they had not been met. And give myself some type of credit. I still have done quite a bit, but there were some other things that I really wanted to manifest. And because of the situations and so forth that I had put myself in, I allowed those things to get out of my range via frequency. My vibration wasn't matching what I wanted. And so in being honest with myself, I had to go sit down. I have this room in my house that I go, it's so dark. This room is so dark that if I put my
Get away to Palm Desert, where the morning light spills over the rises.
son does.
Right.
Me and blew some life into me, and they forgot to mention, or the people that was writing it was unaware. You know, they like soft cheeses, but something interesting happens when they find this place called Cheese Station C. And in Cheese Station C, it's all the cheese you could ever want, all the cheese you could ever need, and all the two little mice, they keep doing the same thing. Every morning they get up and they sniff in the direction to go, and they find Cheese Station C. But the little humans, they move next to Cheese Station C. They live right there next to Cheese Station C, and they never notice that Cheese Station C is running out. And so one day when all the cheese is gone, the little mice, they sniff and they run in direction of the new cheese. But him and Ha, they sit there and they start complaining, who moved my cheese? Well, he's supposed to have,
really?
Yeah, he's supposed to ALS.
Oh, wow.
And so he would receive his justice and become a better person by the end of the second season. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And then they're out of nowhere, they want to, save him because they wanted to keep him alive, but he was a zombie. I could not save that person with their storyline. So you have to find a space where you can, I'm trying to become a better person no matter what the condition the person has been in. So there's a tie,
Yeah.
The true secrets of being able to manipulate the universe simulations and are not animations.
This starts making you even ask questions like, could this technology have existed in the ancient past?
It had to.
Potentially help to build some of these megalithic structures.
It had to.
Yeah. Because you can lift an incredible amount of weight with this technology.
Any weight that you want.
Yeah.
And then you cut to, so those are some of the innovations that we've made in flight, but then you cut to what we've done
engine
off of this.
Yeah.
So
people who don't know, I wrote a book called Fractal Holographic Universe, and in that book I used some of the science, or referenced some of the science from Professor James Gates Jr., who really is a master in supersymmetry and theoretical physics. And he did some work on error correcting codes. He actually discovered these things called Adinkra codes.
Yeah.
Right? And these Adinkra codes, and you take these patterns, you put them into a three-dimensional space. There's this mathematics encoded into them, and these mathematics are called error-correcting codes. What he discovered, though, these are the same codes that are running the universe, but also, on the smaller scale, they're the same exact error-correcting codes that run search engines and web browsers. So the universe as a whole is running on the same exact coding that we're using to run search engines and web browsers on our computers and phones.
Well, they're trying to, because one of the things Alan Watts said, the thing that takes us so long to gain an education is we look at the world and we take it all in as one big thing, one big picture. But when you're learning about the world, it's all laid out in these lines, and you've got to read each line on each page, and it takes so long for us to understand. We can't just go to the end of a book and pick it up and have the picture or see the overall picture of it. We have to go through all of these millions and millions of miles of lines of information because they've laid it out linearly and are no longer doing it based on how the universe does a whole grand picture. You're thrown right into the water and you become hyper aware of everything around you. That's how the universe is supposed to behave with it. So they'll have different patterns for, okay, we'll do it as a communication. Track together and keep recontracting itself. They're producing
the future.
What does the ancient wisdom you've researched and modern science taught you about manifesting?
CT multiplied by 80%. Construct multiplied by action equals manifestation.
Wow.
That's the formula.
The history that we've been given, and we have been given false history just for confusion. There are certain entities of beings, races that look exactly like human beings but are not from here. This is why even in the old text, you'll hear depictions or drawings. As long as there is control in any form or fashion of society, you will always put somebody into a form of slavery. What's the difference between being a 100% slave and a 1% slave? If you're a 1% slave, you're still a slave and bound to something, never accessing your full potential. Even with money, as long as money exists, there will always be perception of this is all there is. So 5 senses, I can't see, or this is all there is, the physical body. But an outer body is where you're taking the soul out. It's a near-death experience, pretty much controlled, or what people also call a remote viewing, but it's not necessarily that, because it's different. It's two different things, but of the same thing.
What is the difference between remote viewing and out-of-body experience, and is it possible for somebody like me to learn how to do either or both?
Yeah, it is. Remote viewing is essentially like this. So you could do remote viewing now. Right now you could do remote viewing. You could get yourself into a meditative state, start to project your consciousness somewhere, and then see what you see and write it down and draw it. But the outer body, that's you're not actually taking the soul 100% out of the body. But when you shut down the body, you go through stages where you hit sleep paralysis, where it feels like you're dying and the soul literally comes out. You can see your physical body sleeping on the bed. So that's the difference. And so when you're out, then you're actually, as every single near-death experience person explains, but it's a controlled near-death pretty much, an out-of-body, where you can have access to the things that remote viewers do, and actually see it as if you're physically communicating here right now.
What is the soul?
The soul is who you are right now. So you're the soul expressing yourself in this body, but then you have you have a limiting belief that the soul is different from you, but it's not, because the moment you come out of your body, you're the same person. You're going to keep the same personality, everything comes with you, but the soul is not touchable. It doesn't die, it doesn't decay. It's your true self. It's basically the consciousness that thinks right now without the preconceived limit or the limitations of death. Yeah, that's your soul.
Why do you think it is that humans have access to the ability to do things like out-of-body experiences and remote viewing? Is this, what's the evolutionary function of this stuff? Does that make sense as a question? Why does the human have, I understand why the human digests things. I understand a little bit, circadian rhythms and stuff, things. What's the function of that? What's the value of being able to do these?
Well, you're tapping into more of your natural abilities that everybody should have. So again, people are so accustomed to just working on the physical side of things, but they don't realize that there's a whole other aspect to themselves. So it's like you're cutting yourself off. You look at highly advanced individuals. They are using abilities. Even if they're unaware of it, whether if it's intuition, that's a natural ability, but it's not bound to the physical senses, but it's still an ability that you have to perceive or know certain things, or do certain things based off intuition. Yeah. So this is just developing those skills, so your full array of abilities come online. You could say it's part of activating what they call the junk DNA. And that's to suppress that and say, what's all it does is it reprograms your body. Like right now, we have scientifically, they call it immortal genes, where they could literally reverse. You have immortal genes, and it's scientifically proven that you could reverse those cells within your body to be back into perfection, even if you've aged, because that's turning on those things. So those are the things that we have naturally, and that is only that only manifests itself when you start to tap into the things that they try to suppress.
What is the process of actually being able to learn this? What's the CIA doing with remote viewing? Is it something that can be taught? How long would it take? Like, you're able to read long lists of numbers off of a paper that you cannot see. You've done this?
I've done targeting sessions, yeah.
It's called targeting session.
Yeah, targeting.
How many numbers?
I've had people put three at the most. 3 at the most is what I've done in a controlled setup.
So you have to get yourself set up. How long does it take? What does the actual process look like for you to be able to put yourself into that state? And what is that state where a person can start to kind of transcend this kind of objective plane, start remote viewing and things of the sort?
Okay. You want to get yourself into a certain state, meditative state. That's essentially what you're doing. So right now, when your brain is active to a certain degree, you're totally in your body. So when you go into a meditative state, this is where certain things start to turn back on. Intuition is one of them. So that's what you're doing at a very, very deep level. Now, you do it so deeply, even to me. I have an Apple Watch somewhere over there that I put on when I do this, and I measured my heart like into 30 beats per minute by doing it, because you are essentially really lowering the heart rate, your brain wave, to a state where all of the light spectrum and all of the energy all around you opens up to you again, pretty much. But it's been always here. And then you're able to shut down the body completely, leave it.
How does one differentiate imagination with some quote-unquote objective reality happening somewhere else, if one is doing, say, like targeted remote viewing?
Imagination is the more of dimensional space stuff. So right now, when you think of something, we think, oh, we just think and it's not there. But that's still in our field. Scientifically, we have an electromagnetic field from the heart that is surrounding us. This is why when you're in my space, or someone's in your space, the frequency of the both individuals will either sync or repel. That's why females, when they share the same environment, they sync with the same period cycles, because of this field. So what you're thinking is in that space, in your field. Now, when you come out, the first thing people will see is those things, their subconscious belief systems, or their subconscious, or their fears, etc., all within their space, and they see it as it's physically there. But you can move past these things, and you can see beyond just your thought form. Right now, if you were to, for instance, if you were to think of holding something in your hand, I don't know, let's just, a phone. So you're thinking that, you put a lot of thought into it. Now, if you were to consciously leave your body, you would see that thought form somewhere. Or for instance, if I was thinking that, if I was here and I was thinking phone in my hand, and then you come out of your body, you would see what I'm thinking. But you would see it physically there. Because thoughts are still physical manifestations that we cannot see yet. But it's still within inside of the light spectrum that we can't perceive. But it's still physically there, outside of our light spectrum to decode it. You see? And so that's important, because then you also open up the ability to read as well, see people's thought forms when you come out. This is where integrity comes into play too. And this is why you always hear me say unconditional love. Love, unconditional love, and integrity is very important, because it's not necessarily about judging anything that you see, because once you die, or even do this, we are all naked. Everybody's naked. But you could see those things, and this is where you go into mind reading, and what they call mind reading. You would call that thought form, seeing someone thought forms, mind reading. And people may say, oh, that's too out there. How is that even possible? Well, then I point to why is building projects, the spy projects, time events as well. Things that I do outside, things that I